So hello class, you already looked up a bunch of observations. We have a bench, a trash can, a leaf, and a hedge. So those are really good things to observe. And you guys used all your senses except for taste. We already went over that that's not a good one to use because you don't necessarily know what it is and you don't want to get sick. So we wrote down all of your observations. Now from these observations, what do you guys notice? Do you notice any things that are more specific about the objects, less specific? What about the types of observations?
Colors and materials.
Good. Colors,
Numbers,
materials.
size.
Numbers, size. Good. Anything else? What about the difference between one thing and another thing? Any comparisons or?
Size and what they're made out of.
Good, good. What they're made out of, and the size was already said. All right, so I wrote those down. All right, so do you guys notice any differences between the observations? Or some, let's see, what kind of observations would I use if I want to rebuild, let's say, the bench that you guys observed?
The length.
Length.
Or like precise.
Precise, good,
Specific
good.
ones.
Would I need to use any specific thing to rebuild the bench, maybe?
What tools you would need.
Good, tools. Good. Number of parts. So those are all very specific and they can tell, I could make an exact replica of one of the objects. And what about if I wanted to, I don't know, paint a picture of the hedge? Would I need to know the exact measurements of it or would I need to know other things?
You need to know the colors and the textures.
Colors, textures, good. Okay, so what you guys just kind of figured out was that there's two different kinds of observations. And we usually use these together, so that's why when you were observing, you just used them both without really realizing that you were using them both. So we have qualitative and quantitative observations. All right. So if I tell you qualitative observations are the quality of the object, you think about it like that, what kind of observations do you think those would be?
More like descriptive and not so precise and specific.
Good, good. So not so precise and specific, descriptive, those are great. And what if I told you quantitative observations are all about the quantity of the object, very specific?
How big, how much it weighs.
Good, how big, how much it weighs. So quantitative observations, do you think you need to use anything to get those kind of observations? What kind of things did you use today to get observations for your
Use measuring tools and rulers.
Good, good. So quantitative observations usually use some kind of tool, and they're all about the quantity, very specific, very exact measurements. And qualitative, what did you use for that? Did you use your senses maybe?
Sight.
Good, sight. Anything else? Touch, good. So you got sight and touch, and so you use more your senses, very general, but you could paint a picture of it. You couldn't necessarily rebuild it like a quantitative, but you could paint a picture. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so you got qualitative and quantitative. So for your homework today, I want you guys to go out, find one object. I want you to draw that object and label it with both quantitative and qualitative observations.